bring all of our old tests too?
Yeah, I can do that. All the old tests from this class.
Yes.
Okay, well, what organ do we have here? Thyroid. What is this stuff?
Colloid.
Colloid or thyroglobulin. And what are these cells called? Thyrocytes, principal cells, or follicular cells. And what is this organ? Kidney. And this entire thing we see right there would be called what? Renal corpuscle. And this would be a well, we have one right here too. Medullary ray. Okay, and what is this layer that we see right there? Parietal layer of Bowman's capsule, and this area is what? Space or urinary space. And the cells that we see right there and right there, each individual cell is called a what? Podocyte. But that whole layer of cells would be what? Visceral layer of Bowman's capsule. And how about the cells that we see down here in the interstices? Those would be mesangial cells. Okay, and let's see what we have here. Well, right there we have what structure? Glomerulus, and right there, what would that be? Macula densa. And this right here is what? It is a proximal convoluted tubule. There is the distal convoluted tubule right there, and also right there. Yes.
That's based on just the like lumen shape, is that right? Like that's how you know the difference?
Well, lumen shape and also staining. It's more acidophilic over here. These are not going to stain quite as much, and you have a round lumen. Now, I will grant you that this is not the best depiction of these, not the best slide, but those are certainly proximal convoluted tubules. And we have a distal tubule there, nice round lumen, and of course right there, and also right there. And we have another macula densa right over there. So if that's the macula densa, what area is this right here? Vascular pole. Okay, and this would be what? One right there, one right there. Proximal convoluted tubules. Much more numerous than the distal tubules. There's a distal tubule there and also there. And there's the vascular pole again, and we have one of the vessels right there at the vascular pole. And what is this right here? Urinary pole. Okay, and this is what? It's a proximal convoluted tubule, nice stellate-shaped lumen, and collecting duct may be over here. And then we have distal convoluted tubule, there's one right there, and normally on those you can usually see the boundaries between the cells. Difficult to do with the proximal tubule because of the interdigitation of the adjacent cells. Okay, well, more of the same here. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay, and there's that macula densa again. That would be the vascular pole, and just a hint of the urinary pole over there. Okay, and how about this structure we see right here? That's a collecting duct. And right over here, this would be what? Yeah, Now, thin segment of the loop of Henle. You cannot tell whether that's the ascending or the descending line. Okay, and how about this? This was up on demonstration. If we went up further, we'd find the collecting duct, and that collecting duct comes down and ends as the papillary duct of Bellini. Okay, how about this organ? We can see its mucosa in higher magnification here. Has a muscular coat, lamina propria. It'd be nice if we could increase the magnification to look at these cells, but there's a kind of a characteristic cell right there. So this organ is what? Ureter. And this is a little bit unfair. Would not be quite so unfair in the lab practical where you could move the slide, but this organ is what? This is bladder. Okay, and you'd be able to move that around for organ identification in most cases on the lab practical. The question will tell you whether or not you can move the slide and change magnification. And what is this organ? Liver. Very good. Okay, and that structure right there is what? Central vein. And what are these spaces we see right in there? Sinusoids. And all of these cells are what? Hepatocytes. And how about this structure right here? Portal canal. And that is there's the hepatic artery right there. There's a simple cuboidal epithelium. This would be what? Bile duct. And this is branch of the portal vein. So this, and that together make up portal triad. And here we can see the sinusoid, and that little nucleus right there, that kind of little crescent of cytoplasm, that would be what cell? It's probably an endothelial cell. Okay, what is this organ? How many said gallbladder? My, we have a bunch of students that are really active in this, aren't we? Yeah, this is gallbladder. And how about this organ? Pancreas. And this is what? Islet of Langerhans. And right there, what is that structure? It's an acinus. And right there, that clear staining cell is a centroacinar cell. And this and that is what? Intercalated duct. And right there is what? Well, what is this thing right there? That right there. Those are acini, and that right there is a what? Intercalated duct. Nice round lumen, simple cuboidal epithelium. Can't miss it. And how about this thing right there? What is this? That's an interlobular duct. You see a septum going off in that direction, the septum coming down here. So this is clearly between lobules. So this is a interlobular duct. And this organ is what? Pancreas. We have fat, we have acini, and right there we have another duct. That duct would be what? No, it's too big for an intercalated duct. It's a striated duct. How about that structure right there? That is a striated duct.
Is a striated duct the same thing as an intralobular
A striated duct is intralobular. That's where its position is, but it is called a striated duct. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It is an intralobular duct. In the salivary glands, it would be a striated duct.
Okay.
I'm already thinking about next semester. Okay, what is this organ? Well, I heard one answer. What are these right here? Brunner's glands. So that makes this what? Duodenum. And how about this layer right out there?
Muscularis externa.
Muscularis externa, and this layer containing those glands would be what? Submucosa. And this organ. See a close-up of the epithelium. Esophagus. So from there down to there is what? Mucosa. And this layer right there, described by the LP, would be what? Lamina propria. And this by the MM would be muscularis mucosa, and right there is the submucosa. Boy, you guys got that right away. Okay. So what organ is this? Esophagus. And down here, what are these? Submucosal glands. There's the muscularis mucosa right there. This is all lamina propria. There's the duct going up to the surface. So we have submucosal glands in portions of the esophagus and also in the duodenum. Okay. Well, if you could move this slide around and change magnifications, it'd be a little bit easier. But what organ is this?
Fundic stomach.
Fundic stomach. Right. And up here, these are what? Gastric pits. And those cells, even though that's a simple columnar epithelium, these are called what? Surface mucus cells. And that cell right there, and right there, and right there, those are what?
Parietal.
Parietal cells. What do they secrete? Intrinsic factor and also protons. And how about these cells that we see right there?
Chief cells.
Chief cells. And what's one of the products that they secrete? Pepsin, or actually pepsinogen, and a lipase and an amylase. And this layer right here is what?
Submucosa.
Lamina propria. We have those chief cells and parietal cells as well. Chief cells, basophilic, basal compartment, kind of washed out, apical compartment, and the parietal cells are going to be acidophilic. How about this organ? Again, on the lab practical, you'd be able to move this around and change magnification. This is pyloric stomach. Okay, and this layer right there, muscularis mucosa, and that would make this what? Submucosa, and this muscularis externa. Okay, how about this organ? Well, this structure, we should say. What is this? Shows a portion of what structure? Seminiferous tubule, which is